और सब कैसा है? आई रियली होप कि सब बढ़िया हो। मैं हूं आपका दोस्त आकाश राठौर। हमेशा जो वीडियोस मैं बनाता हूं उनमें मैं कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन देता हूं आपको, या कुछ ऐसी चीज़ हम करते हैं जिसके बारे में मुझे थोड़ा आइडिया होता है। आज का वीडियो बहुत स्पेशल होने वाला है। मुझे इस चीज़ के बारे में कोई आइडिया नहीं है जो आज हम करने वाले हैं। सो ज़रा मेरे आसपास अगर आप देखें तो मैं बहुत ऑलरेडी एक्साइटेड हूँ कि प्लेन मेरे पीछे खड़ा है। तो यस, आज के वीडियो में हम प्लेन उड़ाने वाले हैं। मैं अपनी लाइफ में पहली बार को पायलट बनूंगा और प्लेन उड़ाऊंगा भी। तो वो भी मुझे मिलेगा यहाँ पे। तो मैं आया हूँ एयर एसोसिएट्स कैंसस में, जो कि मेरे घर के पास में एक फैसिलिटी है जहाँ पे प्लेन वगैरह आपको रेंट पे भी मिलते हैं और आप उड़ा भी सकते हैं। तो वो करने के लिए चलते हैं इनके ऑफिस में, पहले जो फॉर्मेलिटीज़ है वो पूरी करते हैं और फिर आते हैं प्लेन के पास। तो यहाँ से एंट्रेंस है जो एयर एसोसिएट्स कैंसस सिटी है उनकी।
Whoever is doing the credit card,
I'll be doing.
I'm gonna have you go ahead and fill this out in case I'm already gone by the time you guys get back.
Sure. Yeah, and you can give me more info.
Yeah,
on the way, and that will be good.
absolutely. Yeah. Nervous at all? Or
Oh no, I'm so excited. For this one, are there any instructions that are there, or?
So usually for first flights, what I do
Uh-huh.
is kind of fly us out over the Chiefs Stadium.
Uh-huh.
You know, we're gonna do a lap around there.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go land downtown at the airport, so we're gonna get a nice view of the city. And on the way there and back, I'll let you take the controls a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Kind of let you know the turn, go up and down. So yeah, you'll get to fly the airplane.
Sounds amazing. So आ गया हूँ मैं प्लेन के आसपास अभी, और यूगो इज अवर पायलट फॉर द डे, माय इंस्ट्रक्टर। अभी हमको प्लेन का चेक करना है आसपास कि प्लेन का सब कुछ सही है। सो वी विल डू अ क्विक चेक and then he will explain us on the way like what is the procedures and all. So from how long you're instructing?
So I'm a fairly new instructor. I've been doing it for a couple months, but I've been flying since 2018.
Nice.
So it's been a few years.
And so this is the one time I'm taking it. How many times I have to take to be a licensed holder?
So to be a private pilot here, the FAA requires 40 hours of flight time. That's the legal minimum. Usually it takes a little longer than that. But that's what you need. You also need a written exam, a knowledge exam.
Okay.
As far as the exam goes, with the examiner, when you have your requirements met, you're going to sit down for an oral portion, and then you're going to go in the plane and do some maneuvers, and they'll do that.
Nice. And हमारा fuel tank आ गया है प्लेन के लिए. So fuel tank is here for fueling. So while they refuel it, and it's the same fuel they put in the actual commercial plane, or no, it's different?
No, so jets use jet fuel. We use 100 Lolat. 100 Lolat. You know, it smells different. Also has a really nice blue color.
Okay.
I'll show you what it looks like once we walk around. But
Okay.
it's a little different.
Cool. So fueling done हो गया है, and अभी मुझे पता चला कि wings में fuel tank है. So fuel tank is in the wings somewhere here. Hugo told, and our flight. साउंड बहुत तेज़ है यहाँ पे आसपास. You will hear a lot of noises क्योंकि एयरपोर्ट पे हैं हम. But let's do the check of the plane. So Hugo, we can start the check.
So as pilots, we love checklists. We're always going to follow a checklist. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
It allows, even though I haven't memorized, I'm still going to follow it. It allows us to not make mistakes.
Sure.
Reduce complacency. First thing we're going to do, to start at the top, we're going to remove the pitot tube cover.
Okay.
This cover just stops any bugs or anything from clogging the tube here. This tube is going to give us indications to our airspeed instrument. And essentially the way it works is that air just rams into it. It goes over to the airspeed indicator, and I'm not going to get into a lot of detail.
Sure.
But it translates to airspeed. Once we do that, our school procedure is to record what we call the hubs and tack time. Let me walk on the other side.
Sure.
You stay here.
Yeah.
It's going to be this guy here, and then another guy here. And essentially it helps us keep a record of how many hours are on the engine, kind of like a mileage on your car, you know?
Sure.
Next thing we're going to do is remove our control lock, which just keeps the controls from flapping around in the wind, you know?
Okay.
Next we're going to turn on our master switch, which turns on the battery. After that we're going to turn all our lights on.
Okay.
And the pitot heat. And then we're going to bring our flaps down as well. On the tail we have a beacon. It's that flashing red light.
Sure.
That needs to be on whenever there's power to the aircraft to let other people know, hey, this plane might turn on, don't walk into it. On this side we have a red navigation light and a strobe light as well. They're really bright, so don't look into them. And we have the landing and taxi light on the wing.
So lights के बारे में बता रहे हैं अभी, और उस जितने भी बटन्स वगैरह ऑन करने थे वो हमने सभी ऑन कर दिए। सो आसपास का थोड़ा चेक, लाइट्स चेक के बाद अभी लाइट्स ऑफ कर देंगे एंड देन देखते हैं और क्या बता रहे हैं यूगो हमें।
So once we have that checked, we're going to start at the nose of the aircraft. We're going to check our static port, which is another thing we use for our instrument data, and make sure that's not clogged. We're going to walk along the leading edge of the wing, making sure there's no cracks, dents, anything like that. Zero stall horn. If we get too slow, it's going to start the whistle. And again, you should want to make sure that's not clogged or anything.
Sure.
Keep walking along, looking at the same thing. Then the aileron. So this is one of our control surfaces that we use to move the airplane around. It's called the aileron. It controls the roll of the aircraft, makes us go left and right. To check it, we're going to move it up and down. Check for the full range of motion.
Nice. Okay, so that helps us in moving the plane left and right. So
that's right.
Cool.
Exactly. There's a couple of things to check for here. There's going to be 4 nuts over here. We're going to make sure they're all in. We're going to check for the control arm. That's how we operate this flight surface. So the bigger planes, it's all computers, you know, flight by wire. Here it's literally just cables and rods that push everything around. So, and then we have 4 more bolts here.
Nice.
For the flaps, we mostly use these for landings and then some takeoffs as well. What they're going to do is create additional lift to the aircraft so we can fly it at slower air speeds essentially. We're going to give them a little tug. That way we know they won't retract when we deploy them in the air with the wind hitting them and all that.
Perfect.
And then again, you have a control arm here we're going to check. As far as the landing gear goes, pretty simple in this plane. It's going to be like your car, you want to make sure all the threads are there. And then we have disc brakes on this side. And we just want to check to make sure there's no hydraulic fluid leaking.
Sure.
If there was any leaking, it would be a red fluid, so it'd be pretty obvious. You just want to make sure that's locked.
Okay.
Yeah, funny story. For my first solo flight, I had this swing open during takeoff.
While flying?
Yeah, so that was fun. Then we have our alternate static port here. Same one as the one up front, just in case that one gets clogged, we have backup.
Cool.
Moving to the back of the plane, this is called the elevator. Just like an elevator that you ride on, it makes you go up and down. So it's going to control the pitch of the aircraft. And again, we just want to make sure the leading edge is nice and smooth.
What's this model called?
So this is a Cessna 172.
Cessna 172.
SP, and the specific model is SP.
Okay.
There's different models of 172s. Some are going to have like slightly bigger or smaller fuel tanks. But most of the time they're very similar aircraft.
Sure.
So here we want to, again, this is another flight surface, control surface. We're going to move it up and down, make sure it goes to its full range of motion. These are static discharge. That's what they're used for. Because as we're flying through the air, air molecules rub against the skin of the aircraft, and that can create a static buildup of discharge. Now down here, you'll see there's a cable here and a cable at the top. You'll make sure that those are in place and secured. And then we have called these are called safety wires. They're kind of twisted on the bolts to make sure they don't move, and you want to make sure they're
Perfect.
There's a rudder. It's going to help us keep the aircraft coordinated during turns. Controls are yaw.
Sure.
And then down here again on each side you have a cable, one there and one on the other side, and again you want to make sure that's
perfect.
So check the oil. We have a dipstick. Looks like we have about 5 quarts, which is going to be fine for today.
Okay.
A little bit lower than you wanted.
So oil check हो रहा है.
And then, yep.
Nice.
There you go. Front of the plane, you have the propellers. Just want to run your hand through it, making sure it's nice and smooth, no dents, cracks, anything like that. You can take a peek in the engine cowling, making sure there's nothing interfering. And then give a little tug on the alternator belt as well.
Sure.
Because if this is out of place, our battery won't charge, so that would be bad. And then finally we have the air intake on the front wheel and strut, and it's looking good to me, so Yeah.
All checks are passed basically.
All checks are passed. We're good to
Nice.
go. You can go ahead and take a seat and
Sure.
be off soon.
Perfect. So सारे checks करने के बाद सारे checks पास, तो अब हम चलते हैं फ्लाई करने के लिए। और मैं लेफ्ट साइड बैठा हूँ को पायलट बन के, एंड ही सेड कि मैं थोड़ा फ्लाई भी कर पाऊँगा, तो वो भी एक्सपीरियंस आपको दिखाता हूँ। तो चलते हैं फ्लाई करने की साइड। और काफ़ी लाउड है तो हेडफोन्स हमें देंगे। सो लेट्स सेट। छोटी है स्पेस काफ़ी। सीट बेल्ट लगा लेते हैं। कार के जैसा है पर थोड़ा स्ट्रगल ज़्यादा है ऐसा मुझे लग रहा है। Done. Gate closed.
And then you can pull that all the way forward.
Forward.
Yep, it's gonna be a little hard. There you go, perfect.
Nice. So gate locked.
Yep, doors are locked, windows are locked. You guys seatbelt. And now we can take out our checklist again.
Sure.
And we're gonna run through the before starting engine checklist. So we completed the pre-flight. I told you where we're gonna go fly earlier. We're gonna go to the stadium, then downtown, and you'll get to fly the plane a little bit. It'll be fun. Then we're gonna make sure our electrical equipment is off. So that's mostly gonna be our master switch as well as all our lights. Then we're gonna check, make sure all our fuses are in and not popped out. Then we're gonna check our fuel selector so we can isolate a tank. We could either do left or right tank.
Sure.
But we're gonna keep it on both for now. We're gonna push our fuel shell valve in. Then we're gonna turn on our master switch over here. We're gonna make sure our beacon's on as well.
Okay.
Just so people know that we're
gonna
in
be
the plane.
flying.
So this is the throttle. It controls the engine RPMs and how fast we go essentially. This red one here is the mixture. It controls how much fuel is being put into the engine. All the way back is cutoffs, but we're gonna put the throttle in just a 1/4 of an inch. I don't think we primed the plane today.
Oh, you lived in India in Chennai?
Yeah, for 3 years.
3 years, nice.
So,
Where were you?
I was pretty young. I was about 15, but I remember loving the food over there.
Everybody says that. Everybody loves Indian food.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So now we're gonna start the plane.
Alrighty, perfect. So we're gonna make sure we're clear, that nobody's walking into us. And then we're gonna put the key in, just like a car. We're gonna put it to start.
Nice.
There it is.
Super excited.
Yeah.
And are these the brakes and all?
Yep. So these.
Just like car?
So yeah, on the ground, we're not gonna use this. We're gonna turn this to like kind of correct for the wind. But to go left and right and drive, we're gonna use our feet. And then to brake, it's gonna be your toes. So you're gonna push forward on the
Okay.
pedals.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. So let's start.
Yep.
So we all can hear each other while using these. Nice.
Yep. So I'll go over the instruments really quick so you know what you're looking at. This is our airspeed indicator. Essentially tells us how fast we go. Altimeter is going to tell us our altitude. Our vertical speed indicator is going to give us our rate of climb or descent. It's per 100 feet. So you know 5 is 5 plus 500 feet per minute. Engine RPMs over here. Our turn coordinator is going to give us let us know how coordinated we are when flying. You always want that ball to be centered. Then this is going to be our primary heading indicator. We have a secondary one down here. We also have a compass up here.
Nice.
And yeah, this is going to be our main instrument. It's going to take our airspeed, attitude, you know, altitude, and vertical.
Kind of a digital
Yep.
representation of all of these.
Exactly.
Nice.
So I like them a little bit better, but. 250 something.
250 something. Okay. So done with the flighting. $250 के ये हेडसेट हैं और उसने बताया कि उसके जो हेडसेट हैं वो $1000 के उसने लिए हैं पर्सनल. बट ऐसा मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा. अभी निकलते हैं बाहर और क्वेश्चंस है तो वो पूछते हैं उनसे. $200 मैंने पे किया इस फ्लाइट के लिए जो आपने अभी देखी. एंड अमेजिंग मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा फ्लाई करने का. और जो हमारे पायलट थे ह्यूगो, आई आस्क हिम how much does it cost to be a pilot here?
So to be a private pilot, it's going to cost you about $10,000. We do offer some packages, so where you get a little bit of a discount or you can pay as you go. Personally, to be a pilot, what I did was go to school for it, and I took out a loan, so that's one option you can do as well.
Cool. And if you don't mind, how much do you get paid for it? So how long it's going to take to recover the cost you invest?
So here, you get paid by flight time, and then also by ground instruction time. I get paid $23 per hour.
Okay.
I've seen it as high as 60 and as low as 14.
Oh.
So it's a big range.
But it's not too much. Like it's not like really crazy amount of money that.
Not yet.
Okay. Cool.
Well, once you get to the airlines, that's when you start making good money.
Good money.
So
Nice. So $10,000 उन्होंने बताया, यानी कि लगभग 7.5-8 लाख रुपए का कोर्स है पूरा. और उसको करने के बाद उनको $23-25 पर आवर मिलता है उड़ाने के लिए या ग्राउंड इंस्ट्रक्शंस के लिए. प्राइवेट फ्लाइटिंग में उतना पैसा नहीं है ऐसा वो मुझे बता रहे हैं. बट इनका जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो तो बहुत अच्छा है, उन्होंने मुझे बताया. और मेरा भी बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस रहा प्लेन उड़ाने का भी और ओवरऑल जो सिटी का व्यू था और वो सब देखने का. आई होप आपको वीडियो पसंद आया हो. मिलते हैं अगले सैटरडे 8 बजे. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग.